15, 20 minutes, do kind of a question and answer time of stuff that you guys are wondering about in your ministry, things that you're struggling with. And I would have you text my phone, but I have no service right now. So just if you have a question, feel free just to lift your hands up and just ask them. And they're just going to answer just kind of off the cuff and just talk real with you. So does anybody have anything? Somebody's got to have a question. Okay.
I know that normally really big church that I have a church that I lead up in my summer house. And it's a very small town, literally they are really, we started with 7 kids when I left to come down here in the summer. And they're very troubled. A lot of time, a lot of problems, poverty families, and I can reach out to them because I was also in that situation. But how do you push past that? You know, they're not getting that hope. When they come to the church, they come, you know, they FaceTime, they want you to pray with them, they want you to worship with you, and then they go home, and they don't come on Sundays. How do you reach out?
How do you reach out to them? Do you go to their home? Do you put yourself in that position? Do you try to make it where they're at church more often? I mean, that's what I struggle with, is how do I reach them all the time? And not me reaching, how does God reach them through me all the time?
It's a great question. And Gabe has a brilliant answer for that question.
Well, time, prayer, the gospel, and just there's no like, let me give you the encyclopedia, troubled families. How do we do it? You know what I mean? It's time, and it's effort, it's prayer, it's time. It really is, because I just look at my life, and it's so funny because as leaders, I think we want like instant turnarounds. And so a couple years ago, I went through like this whole transformation in my life where I realized I preached a lot of rules, and I was like, okay, grace. And I sat down with a parent this last month, and she was like, okay, what's grace? Like, you know, it's grace. It's Jesus changes people. We don't change people. It's His work, not our work. It's His effort, not our effort. And I said, but you know what the hard thing about this? I said, I think even though it's more freeing, it takes more time for people to get. I said, if I walked in and said this, then I feel like as a leader, I gave them something so that they're succeeding. But when I just leave it in Jesus' court and I just like, okay, Jesus will change you. Let me drive you to Him. It takes a lot more time, and I think that's just what you're gonna have to see. It's gonna be time. It's gonna be Jesus. It's gonna be how the gospel sets them free, not just from the sins they committed, but sins that were committed against them and their families, and the crazy things that the gospel doesn't only free you from your sin, but it heals you of the pain of what you've gone through. And even though you're still living in hell, you're a light in hell. And so, yeah.
Let me just add one more thing to that. I thought it was brilliant, everything that Gabe said in his session. He talked a lot about encouragement. One thing I've done with my leaders is I've told them we're going to be very intentional. Every week, we have a 90-minute youth service. I said this might be the only 90 minutes that these kids ever feel loved, that they ever have anybody say, I believe in you, that they ever have anybody look them in the eyes and say, I genuinely care about you. I said, you know what, it might be the only 90 minutes of their entire week. It might be all hell breaking loose at home, at school, drama on Facebook, drama everywhere. And so I tell my leaders, I'm like, look, as we go into tonight's service, let's not be so focused on the program that we miss out on the people. And he mentioned that. And so we even set goals as leaders. How many kids, don't just greet them at the door. Okay, you're a greeter, you're one of, you know, I might have a high school leader, a college leader. You're a greeter at the door, but your goal is not just to shake a hand and say, hey, have a meaningful conversation with somebody. And I think a lot of times in youth ministry, it can be dangerous. We can develop a culture where it becomes all about what's happening on the platform. And cool, we're doing worship. It's all about the worship. It's about the preaching. And I can tell testimonies all day long of kids that have an encounter with Jesus because some, 18-year-old leader at the door came over and sat down over the service. They don't remember anything I said. They don't remember they don't know any of the songs we sang, but they remember, whoa, this person I didn't even know had a meaningful conversation and came over and sat with me. And that's what opened up their heart to Jesus. And so I think we have to be careful that, we expect, oh, cool, the preacher's he's going to seal the deal. He's going to be the one that's going to get my friend saved and all that. So I turn it back on the leaders and say, no, you could be the key tonight to bringing the person across the line and introducing them to Jesus. And so being intentional with those 90 minutes or whatever you have to just encourage them. That's all you can do. It's not your job to go into their home and try to fix mom and dad and try to fix the situation. And I know you know that, but I think that we can make a safe, loving